Well, we are now recording, Tim.
Hurrah.
And it's great to be having this conversation. We've already had a very lovely chat about no, about how our paths have intertwined over the past years. But it's lovely to be having this chat with you about joy. Um, and there are the three basic questions. And question number one, Tim, is what is joy to you? What does joy mean to you?
It's such a great question to stop and ask. Um, my immediate response is that it's when I love living,
Oh,
but
nice.
it's not quite that because I can love living when I'm not experiencing joy as well. So it's a particular quality of loving living when it's like I love it and it's expansive and celebratory, or there's a kind of joy that I get when I there's a joy that of when I feel most myself. And I think that's common with most people. I don't know where, like I've just come back from speaking at a festival, and when I have and it's an honor to just be me and go, I'm passionate about these deep awake experiences or the big love that we can share. And there's a real
Yeah.
joy in feeling like, yeah, this is what a Tim Freke does, and I'm getting to do it, and the people are going, thanks. And there's a kind of joy in that at my retreats, or I'm speaking, or where I'm recording my podbook on YouTube, or where I'm able to really be Tim in a positive way. There's a joy to being then.
Oh, amazing, amazing, Tim. So there's a kind of sort of joy of being alive, but a particular kind of joy of just being alive, and
Yeah.
being you, and being able to just just lay it on the line and say, "Hey, world, this is how I see it. This is me. This is what," and sharing your views and your vision and your passion. Um, uh,
Yes, I think there's finding a place where you can be yourself is joyous, and
yes,
in
yes,
in a positive way where you can, and I think one of the things that I do with my work is just to encourage people to contribute themselves to the collective. And one of the ways in which you get repaid for doing that, because it's often a cost to it too. It takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication and a lot of
yeah,
stuff which maybe isn't joyful, hard. But the
yeah.
joy is what the fruition of it when you get to contribute something and it is good. And people realize that it's good, and that you've contributed something to them, just as they're contributing something to you, then there's this, then joy feels like a good word for that.
Oh, lovely. Yes, lovely. Um, um, contribution, a kind of a flow. You put it out, and it comes back, and you put out a vibe. As kind of being you. The adjective that comes to mind is no is authentic, but kind of really being. It's the
I think that's
privilege
a
of
really,
being who we are.
yeah, that's a great word. I think when I think there's also something about connection in there, Joe, as well. Because when I'm most myself, then I mean the great irony is I think when I was younger, I was always concerned that somehow if I was talking to big numbers of people and all of that, that it would inflate me, that I'd become think I was something special and it would be a bad thing. But actually, maybe because it happened so when I was quite older, it's been the opposite. It's deeply humbling because you're just there, raw and vulnerable, and you can connect with other people that you're sharing. For me, sharing the deep awake space, or the ideas, the philosophy, or just the big love experience, you get that, and there's a huge joy, I think, in seeing it have a positive effect on the other, and that you connect in that, and that connection
Yes,
is sublime. Actually, it's just
yes,
so beautiful.
yes, yes, yes. Sharing something valuable and having it well received, having it
Yes, in the
appreciated.
sense that you when that happens, it's landed with
Yes,
somebody and they've gone, oh yeah, this is lovely, you're right. And in that moment, and then, and then it's a
Yes.
two-way thing, of course, because you have to be,
Yes.
I want to be open then to really see them. It's not just a one-way thing.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, a lot of what I
Yes.
do, Joe, with people like at my retreats and all of that, and I've just done this in the Isle of Man where I've been talking, is to get people to just look at each other and just quietly, and to experience profound soul-to-soul connection and the joy.
Yes.
Once you've got over the, oh, this is a bit awkward, which dissipates within minutes, the joy of just being connected or communing even as one together, it's beautiful.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
something so simple, so simple.
Yes. 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 Um, um, so the question number two is sort of flowing on from this really is how important is joy and what we've been talking about. How important is it to you, Tim?
Again, it's a great question, and I think I have to say it's very important. However, I am willing to sacrifice joy, or I'm willing to sacrifice joy in the moment for something which seems more important later. So that, I mean, a lot of that my life is, there's a lot of creativity in my life, and sometimes that's joyous, but often it's hard,
Yep.
or
Yep.
when you're really wanting to be of service, which I love to try and be. It's not always joyous, actually, and there I kind of feel like I'm going, well, I would sacrifice it right now because what it can lead to is worth it.
Yep.
And then often
Yep.
what comes back eventually is a
Yep.
deeper joy. So maybe
Yep.
maybe that's it. That I'm. Do you know what I'm trying to say? There's a kind of a letting go of. I don't chase joy. I think that's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yes, 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 yep, yep, yep.
And then it comes when it comes.
Yes. Kind of what um, uh, what ran through my mind when I was sort of listening to you was sometimes when we do the work, when we have to do the work, we have to do the work, and and hopefully, well, if we do it sort of successfully, then it comes, it evolves, or that there's this alchemical process, and what comes back, what emerges is this deeper joy, this deeper appreciation of the
Without a
wonder of
doubt.
life.
So I would say if I think about my philosophy, I've been really, really withdrawn into philosophy for about 8 years. And I'm just coming out now and launching a new philosophy project on YouTube called Why Your Life Really Matters. And in that
Right.
process, I have now learnt what I'm like, so that I'll hit a problem and the whole thing will start to shake, like, oh, hang on, this doesn't work. And I know, and then I'll withdraw, and I can almost feel it's almost like, what's wrong? Am I feeling low? Am I feeling ill? I'm not sharp. Oh, what's going on? But I know now that if I just wait, that I'm processing
Yep.
difficult ideas, and that at some point it just goes boom, and there's a moment of insight, and suddenly it's so exciting. It's like, oh, that, yes, okay, and then the thing which I was looking for arises. So that's the place it
Yes.
takes me is exciting, and I love that. I enjoy that. But the
Yes.
route there is uncomfortable. So,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
accept that as part of the process.
Yes. Yes. So what would so the final question, so what would your top tip or your top tips be for someone who is um uh looking to experience more joy in their in daily life?
Well, I'm going to I'm going to steal someone else's top tip, but it's not just anyone. It's my mother, um, she's dead now, and uh, my mum was an extraordinary woman and had effect on everyone really around her because she just gave off this love of life and of everyone, completely unself-consciously. She had no idea what she was doing. She just did it, and
Lovely.
tended to faced all sorts of problems and challenges, really, like everyone, and but always seemed, well, full of joy. Always felt like she loved life and wanted to do that. And towards the end of her life, I suddenly realized, it took me a while because she was my mum, and then I began to realize,
Yes,
oh, this
yes,
woman is something else. Partly because other people were telling me, and my wife could see it, and was like, wow, yeah, what's going on? So I sat her down and said, Mum, what's your secret? And she said, I've no idea what you mean. And
oh yes, of course, yes, yes,
I
yes,
said,
yeah.
look, you've got to tell me, because you're not going to last forever, and if I don't find out while I can, I will regret it. What you always, despite everything, you always seem to come in, you're bouncing with energy. I mean, you're old, but you're just full of energy and life and positivity. How do you do that? How do you do that? And she went, oh, I don't know. Oh, well,
Yes.
and then she said, well, I think it's that if I'm feeling a bit down, I just look for someone to help. And then I feel fine.
There we go. There we
So,
go.
so that's my top
Yes,
tip that my mum gave to me, and which I
yes,
often think of.
yes. So nice, so nice. When we're feeling down, feeling a bit low, find someone we can help. Find something helpful we can do.
Yeah, find something
Someone
to
we can
give,
help.
and
Yes,
and it shifts, and it shifts.
yes. How amazing. Tim, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Thank you very, very much for taking the time for this amazing and wonderful conversation. Um, uh, and um, uh, and maybe our paths will cross again um, more recently than they have done in the past. We realised it was actually a long time ago that we physically last saw each other.
Indeed, Joe. It's just to
Great.
hear your laugh will be worth it.
Lovely, Tim. Thank you then. Okay. Bye bye.